Hey guys, welcome back to the show. In this episode, I have a really special guest with us today. Her name is Chloé Caroline. Some of you may already know her from her songs and her latest EP. Hi Chloe, how are you today?
Hey, I am doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Awesome. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so please introduce yourself and maybe sing a few lines from your latest song, Boyish.
Ooh, okay. Hi, I'm Chloe Caroline. I'm a singer-songwriter based in Los Angeles, and I'm from here. And yeah, I've been writing songs since I was a 6-year-old little girl. So a long time. But yeah, boyish. Okay, so definitely not my latest one, but it is on my latest EP, The Awakening Volume 2. So let's see where to start with this one. Um, let's see. But the way you act don't fit the suit you're walking in. I think you're boyish. You're boyish. There we go.
I love that. Honestly, that's my favorite song. It's so good. Like when you just did that boyish, that part, oh my God, I love it.
You're so cute. I love that one too. It's so much fun to play live. It's probably my most favorite. Well, okay, I don't want to say most, but it is really fun because I like to get the crowd to sing boyish back to me. So I'll be like, "You're boyish," and they'll go, "You're boyish."
Oh my God, yes. I mean, as a singer-songwriter too myself, I love dissing people in my songs.
Yeah.
I love you know, um I'm not into rap music, but I just like the idea of being like, oh, you did this. That kind of thing. I just love doing that in like the nicest way possible. But
Right.
and also like that connection with the audience, being like, oh, you guys do this, sing I, you guys sing E or whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like whenever I'm doing shows as well myself, for cover songs and things like that, some
Yeah.
songs require that call and response type thing. And I love doing that just because it's not just you performing, when you perform, they enjoy, and if they enjoy, you enjoy. It kind of like works hand in hand.
Oh, exactly. No, I totally agree. It's definitely like there's a different energy when you hear, obviously, like the audience like singing, especially if it's your own song, like singing your lyrics with you, and um, you can tell when they're really into it, or just like getting to see their reactions in general to a song, whether they're crying or because it hit them emotionally. Like, I think for me, that's obviously like my favorite part of actually performing live. And as much as I love social media, it is one of those things that really sets it apart. Like you know what I mean? Like just that in-person connection.
I completely agree, honestly. Just that, as I said earlier, right? That connection and that aha moment where it's like, yes, I'm doing, because music is like a very transformative type of thing.
Yeah.
You can do it for yourself, yes, but when you're putting it out for other people, they do play a huge role in the success of your music.
Oh,
Y-
yeah, entirely. I mean, it would be great if I just like sung in my house and I would do that for me anyways, but like when you share it with other people and then they in turn share it with people that they love because they feel connected to it, I mean like that is how it spreads like wildfire.
Honestly, that's the perfect way to put it, right?
Yeah.
One, because when it's like a whole system, right? It's like if I like this song, sometimes what people do is if they don't like the song, they still send it. It's like if
Hmm.
I didn't like the song, I'm still gonna send it to this person to waste their time. But
Yeah.
one thing to note is there's no such thing as wasting their time in music. You may not
No.
like it, but the person you send it to may like it, and then they would
Yeah.
continue the chain. So
Well, no.
I feel like every single thing you do plays a role in the whole musical universe.
Oh, 100%. I think like what's really cool about it is like you said, it's like you just don't know who's gonna react to your song. And I've been so surprised at times where it's like, it'll be, let's say like a guy who's like 25 and he's like an athlete and like it's like what? Like I wouldn't assume that he would be listening, especially to like, you know, a certain type of song that wasn't necessarily who I assumed would. And I try to not like prejudge, of course, like it's for everybody, but it's just sometimes it does surprise me the type of people that actually end up listening to my music. And it's people of all ages, races, demographics. It's all over the map, and I'm really blessed. It's so fun to see who ends up connecting to what.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what really like was like the moment you realized that music is for you?
Man, I mean, it definitely started when I was really, really young. I definitely remember just listening to, I mean, everything. I was really lucky to have a dad who was super into music. He was a singer-songwriter himself. And so he was introducing me to artists all over the map, right? Different genres and stuff. And for me, like I remember just specifically listening to certain songs that like a 5-year old shouldn't necessarily understand. And maybe I didn't fully understand it lyrically, but I knew that it was like it had intention, and I knew that it meant something, and I definitely felt emotional from it. For example, like there's Fleetwood Mac or Stevie Nicks, like Landslide. At that age, like I didn't know necessarily what her lyrics were, especially like that's a pretty poetic song, but I just remember like being like extremely affected by it and realizing, okay, this is a song about change and getting older and like how life is essentially like bitter, short at the same time, and I knew that, even though I had never actually like listened to the song before, I had somebody explain it to me, I guess. And so I think realizing the power of music was what drew me to it. And then being obsessed with creative writing, that definitely helped me as like a lyricist. I love writing stories, and so when those stories turned into poems, which turned into lyrics, that was amazing. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey. I think for me, when I got really sick as a kid when I was like 11 years old, and for me, I turned to music for my healing. It was my outlet, it was my escape, it was how I processed everything I was going through, especially at times when I was feeling very lonely. Um, and so yeah, it became my healing. Even when I was a little girl, like and when I was falling asleep, like I've always had trouble sleeping. I'm super kind of like ADD. And I would be singing myself to sleep. So it's always just been therapy for me. And then when I started posting my songs on Facebook when I was in, like 7th grade, and people were responding positively to it. And, I would have, eventually when I started going to school, when I started getting healthy again, people would come up to me and tell me how much they connected to my song and they wanted to buy it. And that was mind blowing. Because I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't just for me, this is for somebody else too. Somebody else is relating to it. And it just kind of like ignited the fire in me.
Yeah, I mean, that's so inspiring, really. Like, I feel like every time I ask this question, like every singer has like a different answer, but like especially that, but the main thing is that everyone almost says is that it's always about that number one connection, number two realizing your potential. Because sometimes people are like, "Oh, I just sing for fun," but then really they're just like singing the most beautiful thing ever. They just don't feel comfortable sharing it with the world because they either do not want to or just don't feel confident enough at the moment. But like
Yeah.
those are the two main things that like really like play a key role in like doing this. Because for me personally, like I got into music as a healing method as well. Like I found it like an outlet where I could, express my feelings. I couldn't write into words.
Yeah.
So I would write it into words, obviously, yes, but like I would not just have it for writing, I would sing it out as well, write songs and like tell stories through that method. So I
Yeah.
definitely think that, you know, songwriting and singing is just beautiful. Like, you can do so much with it that you may not be able to do with just simple plain words.
Exactly. Yeah. I just it was something that I was drawn to every time that I feel like felt a certain type of emotion, whether it was happy or sad, like it was my absolute go-to, and it's continued to be. And every time I'm going through something, especially something difficult, it is literally my best friend. I always say, like, especially like I just released a song called Another Best Friend, ironically. about, a breakup and how we kind of lose two people in one, a lover and a best friend. But anyways, when I was writing that, I was in a really kind of, low place. And I remember thinking like, if I didn't have this like writing, the songwriting as like an outlet, like I would be insane. Like I don't know how I would process my life. And obviously everybody has their own version of that. But mine just happens to be music.
Yeah, I mean, it's always like really important to have that one thing. Some people do journaling, some people like dance out their nerves and like, dance out their feelings. Like
Yeah.
there's just like no set answer. Like there's no like strict like yes, you need to just write or you just need to dance or you just need to act
Right.
it out or do something. It's just like whatever you feel like you get happy doing, you should do
Mhm.
that. Like if you enjoy like drawing as your outlet of like expressing stories, do that, right? It doesn't always have to be in words. It can be in pictures, acting, dancing, whatever you want, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think the problem is like as we get older, we're kind of in a way told to like not stop doing those things, but like stop. Yeah, I get kind of like we can't focus on those anymore, right?
Hmm.
And then we drift farther and farther away from ourselves and then the things that bring us joy. And I really learned, especially like going through sort of like spiritual awakening over COVID, that you know it's all about those like little things that bring us joy. Like that is what creates like our happiness and that's what creates our fulfillment and our self-love. And if we ignore those things and we don't like give in to like the inner child because that's really what it is,
Yeah.
um we really lose ourselves. And it could be so simple, and I think people too, especially if you're somebody who doesn't have a very clear idea of maybe what their purpose is or what job they want to do, especially like, you're in high school or you're about to go to college and you're that stage of your life and people are telling you like, all right, figure out what you want to do all of a sudden. And maybe you're somebody who doesn't know. They know that they don't want to be a doctor, or a lawyer, or a realtor, or whatever, right? I was very lucky to know to an extent, okay, I want to be a musician and a singer and I'm going to go for it. But a lot of people don't know what they want. And I feel like the key to figuring out like what that is to do what you love. As simple as like literally the tiniest things that could bring you joy, whether it's cooking or going on a walk or whatever it is. And I say this in like every podcast, but it's so true because you discover so much about yourself when you're able to recognize all of those like little things.
Honestly, like this is it. Like this is like the perfect thing to like end this on because like, this is something that not many people talk about. It's always like, when you talk about these kind of things, it's like almost like they do not want to normalize the idea of not knowing what you want to do. It's always like you have to know what you are going to do next. It's always like a quick battle to know, like, am I gonna go to this place or am I gonna do this next? Or am
Yeah,
I not gonna do this, right? It's always like this quick thing. So it's
yeah,
nice that you kind of emphasized on the key thing, which is to like, it's okay if you do not know. You
yeah,
have time to explore things and try new things. But the last thing you want really is you doing something you do not like at all. You're just doing it
exactly.
because people want you to do. So
Yeah, and again, just like not giving yourself the freedom to explore those things that you love because ultimately like that's going to attract what is meant for you, whether that's a job or a partner or a friend group, like doing what you love and you like radiating that is only going to attract like your mirror, which is what we want, right? We want to like surround ourselves with what we're aligned with. And like the only way we can do that is if we like give ourselves the freedom to like dive into what those things are.
absolutely. Thank you so much again, Chloe, for coming on the show. It was awesome talking to you.
Oh my gosh, of course, anytime. Always up to chat and super excited to watch your career continue. And you're definitely using your creativity and connecting people, and that's such like a beautiful thing. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Everyone listening to this episode, be sure to check out Chloe's music. and I'll see you all next week.